This is Dr. Tia. Welcome to Fish and Bread Church. Inosculation. How the devil plays doesn't surprise me anymore. So I built a church to teach the 2 or 3 things to my family which made a difference in my life. Within the field of science, isolation is just as important as combination. Scientists are paid to watch the reactions which result from combining or isolating elements, liquids called tinctures, all of the gases and metals, and everything that occurs outside of us within nature. On Thursday, May 5th, 2022, at 7:30 a.m., Wikipedia, the free American encyclopedia, stated that inosculation was a natural phenomenon in which trunks, branches, or roots of 2 trees grow together. Overcrowding is something that I've lived with all of my life. A story from my life starts with me wanting to grow dreadlocks. I have very thin hair. In black cultures, it's called good hair. But it didn't grow very well, and it didn't grow very long. The art of twisting hairs to form locks seemed intriguing to me, so I thought I'd give it a try. The second I thought it, 3 or 4 people came to me within the next few days and said they're going to try locks too, but I hadn't said anything. Is it possible that we're grown too close together? I decided later to leave my hair be and watched it grow to the middle of my back without locks. I was told that some cultures do not respect African American hair or locks, and it was a good thing that I didn't grow them that way. Quarantining something or someone means keeping them medically isolated. The Bible, the Quran, and the Book of Mormon are books written by doctors who are telling parables or stories about the medical isolation and the reactions from people, places, and things that were needed. The items that were isolated were called sins. Sins are vomitous acts. That means they cause such an unpalatable reaction within a human being that God asked for the complete cessation of the sin involved, or the action. For example, in Genesis 19 through the end of the chapter, God tells a story about the depravity of 2 cities, Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah was where many gay men were, and they took over the city and they did horrible things to one another so that they could laugh and party. When you read the story, you learn that God performed a medical isolation and told one man, his name was Lot, to gather his family and run toward the mountains because he was going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah with fire. At first, Lot didn't believe him. But then Lot said, "Okay, God." He started performing scientific testing. He would ask the Lord questions incrementally to see just how far God's anger and wrath really was. So God finally said, "Listen, I'm going to destroy this city because of its depravity." Depravity means a wicked or immoral act. And I want you to leave the city and never look back at it. And while Lot was running away with his wife, he never looked back, but his wife did, and she turned into a pillar of salt. The stories within the Bible are true. Lot's wife was super dehydrated by her ear and her eyes while looking at a fire which burned an entire city overnight. Mitosis is a scientific word that describes what cells do when they are asked to turn into two or separate. They start pushing items into two piles. One pile on one side and one pile on another side, and then the middle is separated. When humans perform a mitosis, they're asked to separate from a group. Isolation and mitosis are similar, but they're not the same. You can isolate things within a mitosis, but the act of mitosis means to separate to become two. In the Quran, the word divided is used a lot. R. 30:43, the Word of God says, "So be steadfast in the upright faith, O Prophet, before the coming of the day from Allah that cannot be averted. On that day, the people will be divided." He also says in Al-Qasas 28:4, "Indeed, Pharaoh arrogantly elevated himself in the land and divided its people into subservient groups, one of which he persecuted. He slaughtered their sons and keeping their women, and he kept their women. He was truly one of the corruptors." Listen to that, because a Pharaoh is a black king, and if they do horrible or evil acts, God performs mitosis, and he doesn't speak about it, but he goes about destroying the corrupter. Are we being medically isolated so that we can heal or perish?